This land has thrived before, and shall thrive again in days ahead. But why, oh why, does it lie weeping today? I shall read to you a passage from the magazine, A Nameless Diary.
Do we really have to hold our book club here? I have a bad feeling about this. It's not that I'm afraid to die, it's just that this feels like a necessary risk. We're just reading books. We really don't need to immerse ourselves like this. I was told our next meeting would be held in a golden field. It sounded glorious. Now I feel like a fool. Can someone tell me exactly where this golden field is? All I've seen are destroyed houses, upturned dirt, and filthy puddles. Alright, that's enough. I can't stand this place anymore. Today, a shell, an explosive shell, landed so close to me I could almost touch it. They promised it would be safe.
Timbers to Cinders. The Ant Soliloquies. A Letter to the Dead. Hey, what's that you got there?
Just some letter I found in the crater up ahead. I was about to take it to the dugout over there.
It's only a single page. No name, no address, nothing.
I tried reading it for clues, but it doesn't seem to be of any help.
My dear child, this may be the last thing I ever do for you. I know we all must do our parts, but still, I prayed they would never call up your name. Young men dream of war, of valor, sacrifice, and patriotic speeches, of glorious tales of conquest and victory to share when they come home. They dream of marching side by side, dressed in gallant uniforms, swaggering down streets to admiring gazes. Of course, they idolize those uniforms. How could they not? The military designs them with that very purpose in mind, that foolish boys would dream of wearing them. They dream of wearing them on dates when the war is over, but always when the war is over. They never dream of the trenches, the rats, or the bullet that comes to their first and final kiss, or that their uniform may come to size too large and patched with bloodstains where some other dreamer spilled his guts. Have I scared you? I hope so. If nightmares could slaughter those dreams, I would gladly send one to you every night. Honor is only a word, one left unspoken on 1,000 dying lips. It was only ever a dream, packed like gunpowder into burning hearts of youth, to be spent like so many bullets. Please, child, I beg you not to go.
Hmm. A letter from a mother to a child. What a waste of army dreamers. Race into the rain. Leia's day dishes.
Thank you for picking up today's newspaper as usual. These days, with the war dragging on, good ingredients are getting harder to find. But a satisfying breakfast needn't be a luxury. Today, we'll show you how to start your morning right using basic ingredients. Our featured dish is a bacon and butter sandwich paired with a steaming cup. Our featured dish, our featured dish is a bacon and butter sandwich paired with a steaming cup of coffee. Now, we are well aware that high quality butter has become rather hard to access, but fear not. Our Hurl Morgan margarine performs beautifully as a stand-in. We're using pumpernickel bread. It can be a bit dense, but wait until you spread our magical margarine on it. The taste, the texture, and everything. It's like a little piece of heaven. Now, for everyone's favorite, the bacon. That savory, smoky indulgence now costs a staggering 22 so per pound on the black market, which used to buy an entire family meal before the war. So why are we still recommending it? Because we've got a deal for you. Purchase 3 pounds of Hurl Morgan margarine at any store, and you'll receive a voucher for zero point 0.1 pound of bacon, redeemable at designated Ashley centers while supplies last. To complete your morning ritual, we recommend chicory coffee. To complete your morning ritual, we recommend chicory coffee, which is flavorful and still reasonably priced at only 3 so. That is today's culinary inspiration to our kitchen to yours. Do send your own recipe ideas to the address below, and keep reading our column.
Well, the press is important, so let's keep it alive, yeah? timbers to cinders. Once a vibrant tree, its branches arcing toward the sky, leaves dancing in the wind with ants thriving in the shelter of its roots, until someone sets fire to rotting leaves at its base, thick smothering smoke billowing from the all-consuming flames that devour all that grew there. Flame, O flame, beneath your dance the sweetest sap bleeds. Drink it, devour it, destroy it. The ant soliloquies.
The first ant senses the heat too late, the fire scalding its feet. Too small to run, it is consumed in an instant. The second ant flees, scrambling down from the tree, sap, meat, and colony, all forgotten in the scramble. The third ant sees the fire burn. Oh, how it roars, glorious, golden, lost in the blaze's surge, lost in the blaze's glare, it surges into the heart of the flame, longing to be golden forever.
Race into the rain.
A deluge falls from the heavens, washing over the great tree and the ants below, coming as if a savior. The rain patters over the curled, charred body of the first ant. The trickling water cools and lifts the blackened thing, but it does not move. The second ant dashes towards the rising water. Relief fills its mind, believing itself spared. The third ant rages madly as the golden light dims and fades, forgetting the agony of the fire from mere moments before.
No, the ant survived. Dang. So the first ant was engulfed in flame. The second ant fled and it survived, deserting. So this is an allegory for soldiers. The first ant was the first wave of soldiers and was immediately killed. Second wave um, had deserters. The third ant, ignoring the face of the first second, run in trying to have their glorious purpose resolved, only for the war to end with a downpour of rain. The people who joined early no longer able to enjoy the peace of the rain. The ones who desert are happy and feel that they're feel relieved that they're spared. But the third ones who wanted to die in the rages of war still around.
This is Onion Television. Lost in the mud and grass. Fire scorched only the surface, bark, chitin, and skin. But water seeps below, and soon they come to curse it. Puddles of murky water ripple over sodden earth. The ants huddle beneath the cover of bladed leaves, longing for the warmth of the sun. They shiver in their flooded nest, until one, still black with char, whispers,
The fire would have saved us if it only burned brighter.
and others cry out in agreement. The rain yet falls. The ants emerge from the nest, from the grass, toward the smoldering wood, in search of some remnant of the flame. And at last, in a bleak crevice, they find an ember burning, cradle there and wait for the end of the rain, so that it might set the world ablaze.
Ash and champagne. Ash and champagne.
They gather around the fading spark, each waiting for another to act. It cannot find purchase on the soaking wood, but the ants, yes, the ants are dry. As once they served queen and colony, now they serve the flame. Mindless, heedless, they throw themselves in to feed its hunger until it burns anew. The first goes, then the second, and the third. A flicker rages up against the dark sky, burning to spite the downpour, each ant cheering as if the victory was their own. Until at last, one ant recalls the world before the flame, and how they had once feared the fire before the flood. 1,000 of her sisters rise as ashes from the flame, only to settle in the cold, wet mud.
Dear readers, people have their own ideas about this war. There are all kinds of records circulating, some real and some fake, each one more dramatic than the last, because the papers always want new and shocking truths to report. But I refuse to waste time on things that will eventually be examined from every angle. Instead, I want to look beyond the typical explanations
and think about how this war really started and where it may lead. For ordinary people like us, it was only in the final weeks or even days before the fighting began that the reality of it all began to set in. It felt like any other peaceful sunny afternoon until, without warning, there were soldiers in the streets and conscription notices plastered every wall. Years later, trapped in a maelstrom, we can still look back from the quiet center of the chaos and remember how calm the summer afternoon was before the war. The contrast burns in me like a hole in the pit of my stomach. Of course, everyone looks back on the past with longing. In our minds, we still see champagne, outdoor cafes, grand theatre performances, and the endless optimism of the World's Fair. Just by remembering those things, we can't help but smile sadly at what's been lost. Just by remembering those things, we can't help but smile sadly at what's been lost. The well-known historian Orwell, an arcanist, once wrote, "No noble heirs could ever redeem these vulgar, flashy streets. How well those words describe our lives before the war. Now we eat butter substitutes and bread made from bran, because the real wheat and butter have been sent to the front lines. Though the bread usually arrives molded over and hard as tack, the butter arrived with maggots and fit only for rats. But we have gotten used to it. We stiffen our necks and tighten our belts under the notch, because deep down, everyone still believes that when the war ends, we'll go back to living the way we used to."
Ash and champagne on contention.
I can't believe she actually wrote that down. And they call her a great writer? Let me make one thing clear. I am not any kind of saint. This whole thing boils down to a simple question of who will be the first to stop. Today I told that young soldier the same thing I tell the man on the other side of the trenches tomorrow. Real soldiers? Does anyone really want this war? What do you know about their last offensive? In just 3 months, the casualties hit 2,300,000. Do you understand that number? And yet here we are, arguing over who fired the first shot. Does it even matter in the face of a number like that? I'm tired of reading these essays full of dramatic proclamations and so called profound revelations. Writing is the easiest thing to do. With just a few lines, you can turn a young man being sent to his death into a hero or tragic figure. His home destroyed, forced to take up arms, yet still cling to kindness and gratitude. A few drops of ink to sum up an entire life. That's much simpler than what I do, wasting my breath arguing with people who refuse to listen. But I won't give up, and I am asking others to join me. To everyone in the book club, ask yourselves this: why are you reading in the middle of a war zone? To experience something for your next writing project? Or to let the sound of explosions spark your creativity? No, it's to make you see the real flesh and blood behind those beautifully crafted words. These aren't just descriptions, they are young lives cut brutally short, families left with nothing. I hope this piece makes you think. Join us. We need more support.
You can ring my bell,